You know what else you're going to watch play out tonight? Little action football, Western Michigan versus Eastern Michigan. Line opened up under a touchdown. Here's the look-ahead number for Western Michigan, but we're now seeing, Joe, across the board, -7.5 or higher in a total of 45.5. Western versus Eastern, the Battle of Michigan. What's your spread line?
I'm sad, Donnie, because this will actually be the final game of an epic 49-day run of football every day.
Wow.
And this is going to be the final one here. UMass is playing earlier, but let's be realistic. Nobody's watching that anyway.
No.
We told you yesterday in the spread lines that there is a logjam in the MAC conference here right now. There's going to be tiebreakers. There's going to be all sorts of craziness happening. But Western Michigan got to win to give themselves an opportunity here. And I can see it. I mean, they have already retained the MAC trophy in Michigan for the third straight year. I think 9 times out of the last 12 years. They're going for 3 in a row here. But nothing is guaranteed. But the market seems to think that this Western Michigan team, great defense, Eastern Michigan, not very good, but they've been very good in an underdog role. But that hasn't stopped people, Donnie, from betting this thing up and over the key number of 7. I think it keeps going that way, but it's the total that has been getting crushed here. You talked about that opening number, 46.5. We've seen it drop down a little bit here, and I think that's going to keep falling because the defense is that good from Western Michigan, and Eastern Michigan is just not a very good team.
The Heisman Trophy in college football. Did feel like we had a 2-person race there, Joe. I was like, okay, it's either going to be Fernando Mendoza or Julian Sayin. After his week last week, we only got a handful of carries, went the distance multiple times. That's Jeremiah Love. He now sits at a plus 450 spot, and Diego Pavia at a plus 550. Are there some needles going in that pin cushion right now where it looked like it was just a 2-man race? And is Julian Sayin getting knocked where he doesn't really have to do all that much right now? And he's going to take on Michigan this weekend, which could give him a boost, but that's probably not a real high-scoring game at this point. Mendoza, good story out of Indiana. They like to run it up, but it looks like we got competition, Joe, for the first time in a couple weeks.
Yeah, the numbers all seem to make some sense here, right?
Yeah.
And it seems to be very, very close. One of the closer Heisman races that we've seen in a while, but still a couple of weeks left to go here. So keep an eye on all of these guys. Who's going to have the big moment, the big game? Who is it that's going to step up when it matters the most? Boy, oh boy, it'd be interesting to see Jeremiah Love and Diego Pavia. They had huge Saturdays here. Can they keep that going over the next week or so? I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
High-rated quarterbacks go to Penn State and somehow don't turn out all that great. But Pete Thamel reports here, quote, I'm going to be a better version of myself out of this. Spoke to Penn State quarterback Drew Aller, who's amid a full recovery from his broken ankle and looking ahead to throwing for teams at either the NFL Combine or a pro day. Drew Aller, once thought to be possibly the number 1 overall quarterback, now he's just going to say, you know what? Working hard, full recovery. I'll throw for some teams. Where does he go? Is he still first-round talent, Joe?
Goes to a practice squad, that's where he goes. Like it's stop. He couldn't throw, Donnie, at Penn State. Like he one of the worst downfield passers we have seen. He's just not. He's not an NFL quarterback in any way, shape, or form. And in a year where you got a handful of guys coming out that are going to go probably in the top 10 here, Donnie. Yeah, maybe in a 4th or 5th round, but I was not impressed at all with his arm or his ability to throw the deep ball, which is a problem.
If the season ended today, that draft order, Tennessee Titans just drafted number 1 overall last year. That's a sign of a great organization, by the way. Draft number 1 overall and then do it again the next year. That's really hard to do in the NFL when they already help you with scheduling and also draft picks for you to get in line. The Giants, the Saints, the Jets, the Vegas Raiders, as well as Cleveland in that top 6 here. Tennessee probably not looking quarterback. Giants looking quarterback. Saints, I guess, not looking for a quarterback like they thought they drafted their guy. Jets looking for a quarterback. Vegas looking for a quarterback. And away it goes, Joe.
Yeah, well, if Tennessee's smart, the mark of a good organization is trade out of that number 1 pick this year, get yourself 9 million other picks and rebuild that roster around last year's number one pick there in Cam Ward. So, and you'll be back on the road to recovery. But I have my doubts with that organization because the way that organization is being run, yeesh, it could be ugly in a hurry there.
Yeah, most teams, again, when you're bad, you try to grab that quarterback at the top of the draft. The number one overall pick odds here, who that's going to be. Simpson out of Alabama at a plus 130 price quarterback. Mendoza out of Indiana, 3-1 price here quarterback. And then look at that. Ruben Hurricane Bain Jr. plus 360 here as a defensive end. They always creep up there, but I do think if you're trading up to the top spot, like Tennessee, dumb move to say, you know what? We like Ruben Bain, even though he's a great player. It's all about value. He's not value at number one. Trade back and say, hey, you know what? The Jets want to creep up. They want their quarterback. Go back to 4, and then maybe you got a chance there at Hurricane Bain at that point. Any thoughts, Joe, on who's going number one, and will it be a quarterback?
It certainly feels like somebody's going up to get a quarterback here because Tennessee right now, and we don't see them obviously making some sort of drastic turnaround here before the end of the season and rattling off a few wins. But currently right now, if you got the Giants, you got Tennessee, neither need a quarterback, but both will be available and answering the phone if you want to move up, Jets. And New Orleans obviously needs, there's a few quarterback needy teams. It feels like somebody's going to go up and get one.
And somebody thought one of those needy quarterbacks would be drafting Arch Manning, who probably is going to go back to Austin, Texas, but they got a monster game this weekend, Joe. Taking a look on the 28th. Is that a Friday? Yes, Friday at 7:30. Oh, man, you got some good football action this weekend. A&M already probably punched their ticket into the college football playoff. Texas looking to throw a wrench into those things if they can get a victory, but probably not going to take place. A&M is a road favorite, though, in Austin at 2.5, Joe. That's interesting there. It is.
Yeah, well, listen, this is all about Texas having an opportunity to be the only 3-loss team that makes the college football playoff. A convincing win here would make it very interesting here for at-large bids, Donnie, and who gets in and who gets out. We've said it for weeks. They knew it. We knew it. It didn't matter if you beat Georgia or not. It matters whether or not you beat Texas A&M, because if you do, then, yeah, we might get a little more chaos involved here over the next couple of weeks.
Ryan Day won a championship last year for Ohio State. He also lost to Michigan. So it's almost like, well, how do we win a national championship and lose to Michigan? Well, that's the new playoff structure. Usually you lose that Michigan game, you're out, you can't make it because it's the last game of the season. You can't afford to take a loss. Ohio State taking on that team up north and will travel up north as double-digit favorites at most outlets right now. And look at that total, 44.5. Defense, and more defense. That's a noon kickoff on Saturday, Joe. 27 degrees at kickoff. How about that? That's football weather.
And the reality is here, Donnie, this game is way more important to Michigan from a college football player perspective. Ohio State's already in. They just like they're already in. Doesn't matter if they win this game or there's nothing on the line outside of bragging rights here, right? If Michigan wins this game, there is no way Michigan does not make it into the college football playoff as a 2-loss team. I'm telling you right now, more chaos could be coming.
I know. We need that chaos here. Auburn, Alabama, Iron Bowl, only a 5.5-point number here. Alabama, ripe for the upset, Joe?
No. Auburn's terrible. But this game, we've seen this over the years, Donnie. Just anything is possible here. This game is crazy.
Anything is possible, as Kevin Garnett once said at that point. Told you yesterday, I had a little, Notorious B.I.G. on the screen here. Gave us a win in Brooklyn. Hey, they were getting 14, lost by 13. Ba-bing! Joe went out to the West Coast last night and said, you should be laying 7. Don't worry about the touchdown. Lay the 7.5 at light juice. You'll be just fine with the Niners. Ba-bing! That's a winner, Joe. Where are we going tonight?
Well, tonight we're going to go back to football in the final game of the 49 straight days of football in the MAC conference. And I'm going with Western Michigan. A win will send the Broncos to Detroit, where they'll have an opportunity to win a conference championship here. And this was 6.5. It's now 7.5. And I agree here. You've got the number one defense in the MAC. I have cash tickets with this Western Michigan team all year long. They have a great running game. They're going up against an Eastern Michigan team that can't stop the run. They want to run the ball, but you're not running on this Western Michigan defense. They get turnovers. They're very well coached. They're at home with a chance to go to the MAC title game. I'll lay the 7.5 with Western Michigan tonight.